Seems to have had a bit of a internal gasket blowout with my nose dripping everywhere.
How do you do?
Hello team, we're back in the garage. Welcome to the channel. If you're not tuned in before, this is Just Do It, the channel for duathletes, runners, cyclists, with an emphasis on the older individual and how we can maximize training gains and minimize the loss of speed and form due to age. Okay, that's enough of the blurb. What am I doing today? Well, after the weekend, reasonably heavy batch of training, we're in this phase now of bike work and run work in the kind of sweet spot. We're bringing in some effort, bringing in some intensity, but not too much. But we've still got some volume. So you could argue this is potentially one of the hardest phases of the training block, because you've got a reasonable amount of volume and some intensity that builds fatigue over time. And that's kind of the way it feels. So I'm hitting this session today on the Zwift Build Me Up plan that I'm doing to build the fatigue and the intensity for the cycle leg. So my target race is standard distance, so the cycle leg will be 40k on the time trial bike. So I need some endurance, but I need speed. So I've got to build that level of endurance and strength before I top up with the speed. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. So we're on a session called Orange Unicorn. It's an hour and a half long. It's tasty. It's basically a warm up with some leg primers and then four sets of 15 minutes. So each block of 15 minutes is 2 minutes at sweet spot with a 30-second burst then above FTP back to sweet spot. So you do that 6 times through within the 15-minute block, if that makes sense. So it's 4 blocks of that, which is hard. And the sweet spot sort of power levels is gradually getting up. It's slightly 5 watts more than the last time I did this kind of session. But the thing with this session is the fatigue grows throughout it. So once you hit over the hour, what felt doable becomes a lot harder. But anyway, that's what we're doing. Let's see how it goes. I'm warming up. Get back to you. Halfway through first set. Sensations, breathing okay, legs, bit of fatigue, probably from that tempo park run on Saturday. They ended up being a bit more than, well, high-end tempo probably. Yeah, some fatigue built up, and from Plyometrics yesterday, probably more the case. Feeling that. But let's see how we go. Sometimes getting the first block set out of the way makes you feel better. Let's see how the second set feels. And then we'll be halfway through. Hello, right, so we're just coming to the end of the second 15-minute block. The last 2 reps within this 15-minute block start to feel a bit easier. Well, not easier, but just more in the groove. Coming to the last 30-second effort and then into some 2-minute recovery. Let's go. Sorry about the creaking. It's my seat post, honestly, not the bones. So, as I said, starting to feel in the groove when I get back to sweet spot after this 30-second effort. This is 4 watts per kilo for me, 30 seconds, and then cruise around 3.3 watts per kilo. So there's not much recovery in a 15-minute block. And there we go. So that's the end of the 15-minute block. Yeah, I had to work hard. I think it was made harder, as I mentioned, it's just so warm. not used to it, and I've decided I do need a fan. So out of the 4 blocks of 15 minutes, I've done 2, and I'm going to do the third one because I feel I'm not over the top in terms of pushing and fatigue, but I do need that fan. So I'm going to have to hop off in this recovery and put the fan up, and then do the third 15-minute block. So it goes. Check back in when I've got some wind. Hydrated. I feel that. Whew, that's nice, cooling. It does affect performance when you start to overheat, that's for sure. Third set coming up then. See how I feel after this. I'm quite happy with how it's gone, to be honest, with the fatigue in the legs and thinking about, as I said, to the plyometrics. Undoubtedly that's affected the legs, but hello, I'm full of excuses. I'm good at excuses. Right, 20 seconds to go. Let's get prepped. Right, so not too long left now. This third set, 15 minutes. Seems to have had a bit of a internal gasket blowout with my nose dripping everywhere. So I think I'm going to have to end it at the end of this third block, which is about right, I think, anyway, because the legs are got slightly pushing a bit too hard for what I want, but certainly tasty session. I'm pleased to get 3 blocks in, really, of 15 minutes. I do fit into the groove well, coming back to the sweet spot after the 30-second burst. So yeah, the signs are good. I remember I get loads of time in the aero position, so that's a real benefit. And these workouts are designed for cyclists, not runner cyclists. So trying to squeeze them in and do them all to the right length it's a bit false. So don't be led by the program, don't be led. Do your own thing that feels good and is right. Okay, 30-second effort coming up. I'm signing off. Session done for me. 3 sets, 15 minutes each set, and within each set 6 minutes times 2 minutes, sweet spot, 30-second burst. Sounds complicated, but I think I've explained it okay. I just repeat myself. So I'll cool down now. Good set. I've been riding, getting on 1 hour and 20 minutes, so it's definitely a good session. And I did similar last set of the build me up plan. I just did 2 sets of this, so it is progression. It's like I'm convincing myself, but I don't need to. It's a good set, good session. See what happens tomorrow, see how I feel, and then Wednesday probably be track session again for running. See how the legs feel for that. Definitely need to be mindful of building too much fatigue and pushing it the intensity too much. And if I go the track, depending on what the session is, I'll just go with sort of tempo work. I said that at the park run, didn't I? Let's see how it works out. I'll make no promises, but good to have you on board. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up again. Thank you. See you next time.